The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady from the Simi Valley, California area. She's the owner and the founder of Chatter 365, which we are chatting right now. I don't know about the 365 part, but definitely 24/7. We can all access as well, too. And it's developed by Thompson Technology Solutions, and she's got 3 offices, 2 in California, 1 in Chicago, and it's just a new way to stay in touch with community, friends, family, and businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. And it's also a lot of benefits as well, too. So this is something that's brand new, ready to give the apps a run for the money. And now live, ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful studios in Simi Valley, California, wonderful studios, and chatting 365 about this wonderful product. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder and owner of Chatter 365, Sarah Thompson. Sarah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi there. Thanks, Mike, for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, that's very good to have you on, Sarah. So you're pretty much developed Chatter 365, and it's developed by Thompson Technology Solutions, and it's an app that's designed to stay in touch with community, family, friends, and businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. But it does more than that. It can also has free messaging, calendar, and just a lot more than what the other apps do as well, too. And before we get into all that, tell us how I first got started.
Well, we've been, my business partners and I, we've been developing apps for a very long time, but mainly it was for other businesses, so we call B2B. And it was for the legal market, for attorneys, various reasons, to collect evidence, to look at it, look at evidence, that kind of thing. And then, we wanted to kind of take a foray into the consumer world, something more interesting, a little bit more fun. So we had this, like any other apps get developed to solve problems, right? And so we had a particularly difficult problem with an ex, spouse of one of the founders of the app, and every time we were sitting there and having a conversation, the text message would go, and often it would ruin this person's day. Negative text messaging, that kind of thing. So we thought, wouldn't it be awesome? There was like a messaging app out there where you could actually, have more control over your emotional well-being, if you will. So nobody could kind of send a text and ruin your day, right?
Uh-huh. LOL, they say, not like that.
Well, there's certain people that, you have to communicate with, but it's not always an easy thing. So it kind of started with that in mind. And what we did is we created a messaging app that integrated in Google's AI, artificial intelligence, that would analyze the text. And if it came over as threatening or rude or abusive, then it would block it from sending. And the user would get a little pop-up saying, I'm sorry, this is going to be considered threatening or abusive, try again. So essentially we were trying to do what our parents did not do. Our parents taught us how to be polite at the dinner table, be polite with, when meeting other people, but nobody really taught us about how to really communicate online in a constructive and effective way. So I guess you could say this kind of does that, which has a bunch of uses, both for communicating with, people like your ex-spouse, which you have to communicate with if you have children, but also for, it could be people at work where you don't want to have abusive behavior, or even for, in the future, we hope to really develop this for kids, where parents could know if their kids are being, trolled or that kind of thing without interfering with somebody's privacy. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. And of course, there's apps out there. Of course, you got the Facebook messaging app, you got Skype, and then you also got the WhatsApp. And I think there's also a few others. I think there's Wicker, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, there's just a million apps out there. And yes, there are people out there during this crisis where it's like, how's your day? And, some people would say, how's your day? Things like that. Or it's just like, hi, I'm happy. Hi, I'm happy. Not, stuff like that. But when it comes to the parenting you're talking about, and how does this app sense that a person is angry? And can it sense the tiniest a bit of anger in a voice?
Well, we're using artificial intelligence where, we're not analyzing every word itself. It's really analyzing the tone. And so you may have some people using certain swear words, for instance, but in a context that is positive, that's effing great. I wouldn't be blocked. And so it's really utilizing artificial intelligence. And so that's really a cool thing. And, you don't have to block abusive behavior. You can choose not to if that's what you want to do. But it really, the app starts as a wanting to be able to, solve the communication issues. And so it's not just that it but will block threats. We kind of, as we dove into it, we saw, well, communication isn't just tone. It's often language, right? Mm-hmm. So what we did is we integrated the ability to talk to anybody of any language real time, and would do auto translation on the fly. And so you may have a group like WhatsApp, say it's a soccer team, and you have families that right now we have to kind of agree on a certain language of communication. Well, now I could have a Spanish family, a French family, an English family, an Arabic family, all join the same group and communicate in their language. So I could communicate in French, for instance, and everyone else would see my messages in their language of preference. So it's a really kind of interesting, we wanted to kind of tackle that, barrier to communication as well. Mm-hmm. So you kind of like languages in communication. We're not going to be able to send negative text. We really feel that's, different than WhatsApp and the other apps out there. Mm-hmm. But to make it even like more useful, we're talking about families here communicating with, relatives that, maybe in Germany or Brazil. Kids can now text with their grandparents that don't speak the same language. But so we added in also a group calendar. So you can also share calendars. So I can share a calendar with people that I wouldn't normally do so, birthdays, events. If we take the soccer analogy again, we have people with different languages, people that we wouldn't normally communicate with. We can now share actual calendars so that we can see when games are and practices, and all being able to communicate in a really kind of effective way, easily.
Uh-huh. And now let's say we're having a conversation right now, and there's a German family that is chiming in. Now what we're talking about right now, and a German family is listening in, what we're talking right now in English, is that automatically converting into German as we speak?
It's a texting app, so it's as you text. But yes.
Wow, amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then if the German family decides to say something in German, like, what time is it? Beautiful day. Or, like say my team won, and they speak in their language, and then it comes on text, it comes out in English then.
That's correct.
That is amazing. And what about different meanings, like in different words? Is that translated for you, or is there like some kind of risk of miscommunication? Because, there are several things that may mean, mean several things, like in America, but in Germany, let's just say, it could mean one thing. It could also may mean a positive, a negative, or sexual, or other connotation. Would that be like any problem on that? Would that be blocked or something? Or is it where it's like they just say, okay, we understand?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you have the anti-trolling turned on, there is a possibility that it could be misconstrued. I think there's when you're in a group with multiple languages, you're able to tell what the person's original message, the language that was in. So I could tell that they had written it in German, but I see it in English, and I can actually look at the German myself if I want to kind of learn German, for instance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So you could have so can there be mistranslations? For sure, there can be. It actually works really well, though. It does take context and tone into consideration. So we find that it's actually pretty accurate. You can't have 100% though, but again, everybody knows in the group that you're utilizing different languages, so you have to keep that in mind, that it is translating on the fly.
And then how many different settings are there in this app as well, too? Like, say, in terms of tone, the anti-trolling and everything.
Right.
It's how many settings are there? Like, say, from 0 to 10, like, say, really easy, really strict, or anything like that. How many levels or how many different settings do you have on the app?
It's very easy to use. And right now we're basically doing kind of an on and off type of situation. Do you want to block abusive behavior? It's on. You don't care, it's off. And so you really can turn it on or off as you see fit. If you don't like it in the way that it's working with a particular friend, you can turn it off. that's up to you to decide on how to do that. And as for language, you just, when you sign up, you select your language and we do the rest.
And what about people with disabilities or handicap as well, too, physically and mentally? Would Chatter 365 work for those with physical or mental disabilities or handicaps?
Well, I think they need to be able to text. I mean, it's all text based. So, I mean, there is voice translation to text, voice to text that whatever they're currently using. So they could utilize that as well. It's just like we really wanted to kind of get out there and just have a better way to communicate with people and communicate with more people. And I think that we have a long way to go and a lot of cool things that we can do, like blocking trolling from kids, or like, saying, I'll accept like 50% abusiveness because I'm a sucker for abuse, whatever. We could do stuff like that. And, we have plans on doing that, but, we released this only a few months ago. So we're testing the waters, seeing, what people like, what people don't like. I think a lot of people are loving the fact that, whether it's for their personal life, they can share calendars. So soccer event, one of my business partners, he has kids in soccer, baseball, basketball, and, has to share those calendars with his family, but also his ex-spouse. And so there's a lot of communication going around. Now he's got one centralized calendar where you can share events that are private with his current spouse and, the soccer team and kids events with his ex-spouse. So you can really just have one place, whether it's, with certain people or your family. All your events are in one place. It could be for work. We do have companies using it, especially with overseas clients where they don't speak the same language. Instead of trying to get, a translator or trying to kind of get the point across in the other person's language, they can just speak text as they would normally in their language. And, we're finding it's like really working well for them.
It sounds like something that's amazing, and I'm already a fan of it as well, too. We'll talk more about Chatter 365, how it got started, and the current situation. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking a budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with founder and owner of Chatter 365, Sarah Thompson, here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about Chatter 365, the benefits, and how it's used and everything else. And of course, before we get to more about Chatter 365, what was that one moment that influenced you into starting up Chatter 365?
Well, like I said, we were trying to solve at first a problem with divorced families and communication, but it did evolve from there. For me personally, I'm actually I was born in Canada. And so I do live in Los Angeles now, but, when in Canada, I was kicking around at the time of the referendum. I'm not sure if your viewers or listeners are aware of what that is, but there was a time back in, I think it was 95, where Canada voted on, splitting up based upon the language, the French and the English. Quebec was interested in separating from the country.
I remember.
Yeah. Do you remember that? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I do. And that was a really emotional event. And I think that was just defeated by a hair. And I remember that. And I can imagine Celine Dion probably making a plea. It's like, please stay. I'll sing for you.
Did you? Well, the funny thing is that I grew up in a divorced family, actually, and my stepmother and my stepsisters are Francophone. They speak French as their first language, and my father, brother, and I, we speak English as our first language. So we had kind of a microcosm, of the kind of issue where, English and French were both spoken in our home. But when we went out, when I was around 20 years old, I went on this development trip. Okay. So it's kind of like, I guess for Americans, you could think of it like the Peace Corps. And so we went to a place, a community in Canada that we were a bunch of Canadians were supposed to help out with, and we do community service and work there. And then we went, and we were doing that for about a year. And then we went over to Indonesia and to do the same thing. And while we were in Canada, it was actually during the time of the vote for the referendum. And it was 49.5% voted to separate from Canada, and 50.5%. So it was a hair. And we were actually placed in a French community in Quebec, a very small community in northern Quebec, where there were no English-speaking people whatsoever. And this might seem strange, to have like a place in Canada where no one speaks English. They didn't as their first language, and very few people actually could read it or speak it, because they were not teaching it in the schools much, certainly and there was no signs or anything like that. So we were essentially the first English people they'd ever really met and gotten to know. And we found just by, getting to know each other, that people were a lot less inclined to separate, and that we were a lot more inclined to understand each other. And so I believe that, a lot of the problems we have today, especially the divisiveness we see in America and around the world, can be changed with simply communication, like the ability to communicate with people and share ideas. And so what I learned back when I was 20 in both Quebec and Indonesia, communicating with people, made me realize that everybody is the same, regardless of language or religion or culture. We all love, we all, want to be loved. We all need food and water, etc. So we're really a very similar people, and that communication is just really what we need in a time like this to try and, get past this divisiveness. So that's why we really kind of got super interested into it, because we see a lot of uses for it.
Mm-hmm. And also, how's Chatter 365 helping community during this current pandemic?
Right. So we did put in a few features, when the pandemic began, where you can see, local blood donation centers. You can see the COVID testing centers, that kind of thing. But kind of more importantly is we added a feature for local businesses to advertise their services for free, so that they could communicate with the people near them in their area, offer deals and discounts, whatever, just like you would see on Groupon or other sites like that, but at no cost to the business. Really, right now we're seeing a lot of very small businesses just unable to make ends meet. We wanted to do something to help that out. So this is one of the things we're doing. So we're starting with that, but we're also offering the app for free at this time to businesses that would like to use it for remote worker communication as well. So they can text, they can share documents, they can share calendars, all that good stuff to communicate with their colleagues or their clients. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're doing today.
And it's amazing, too, that not only Chatter 365 is also vital to helping during the pandemic, it also connects communities to at-risk individuals. And that's just amazing. I've never heard that.
Yeah, we give the ability for people to post what we call SOSs. So really, if you were, this kind of came about actually because I do live in Los Angeles and I have aging parents in Ottawa, Canada. And, they need things like somebody to go, get them to the grocery store for them or something like that. I mean, there's definitely resources available out there, but there were a lot of times when I, had to reach out to just the people I happen to know from high school and ask them if they could go do something for my mother, which was kind of awkward, to be honest with you. So we thought, okay, so now I can put out an alert, and ask for any Good Samaritans nearby if they can help out, and we can, and then they can just kind of reach out and communicate in a safe manner so that they can't see where, the at-risk person is. They don't know their real name and nothing like that. But they can then choose to communicate and help each other out.
And where can we download the Chatter 365 app at?
Or you can download it on Google Play or on iTunes, or you can go to www.chatter365.com and you can sign up and download it from there as well.
All right, sounds great. We'll talk more about Chatter 365 and what's coming up in the future. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% for first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with founder and owner of Chatter 365, Sarah Thompson, here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about the many benefits of 365 and also what it does, and also how people can use it, and also it can also be used to where can you find toilet paper?
Well, yeah, that's really why we did that. In search of toilet paper, in search of someone to go to the LCBO for my mother, there's things like that.
Mm-hmm. and how about ordering pizza? Can you do that with Chatter 365?
Well, you can't go and order online, but a pizza place can post an ad. They can post coupons. You can communicate directly with them if they sign up. So there's definitely that ability, for sure.
And of course, you also got maps, also provide coupons, and also when sports season comes up and running again, people can communicate on their favorite sports teams and exchange scores and see how they're doing.
Well, I gotta say, when we were creating this app, and there were all these great, things that we wanted it to do. But at the end of the day, as parents, all of the founders have children. We wanted it to work for us. We wanted an app that we would use also. And I'm a soccer coach as well as, not a good one, by the way. So I'm a volunteer just because they needed volunteers. But we had a lot of challenges. We're like, oh, we'll use the app for it in the beginning, but last year, and we saw, well, this is great. We can communicate, but we want to be able to share calendar events. We want to be able to see on the map where actual games and practices are, because it ended up being a communication nightmare. We get a million text messages. Where's this soccer practice? I forgot. I'm not going. I'm going. This, that, and the other. This is an app where it can take care of all that good stuff. And we're actually working with the local ASO organization, the youth soccer organization here in Southern California, and they're utilizing it as well as their coaches, just so that people don't have to. It doesn't have to be this complicated. One place to communicate in the language of choice. You can see all of the events. You can even see the directions to the events on the map. So we think it's kind of a one-stop shop for any group of people to talk to.
And when it comes to soccer, that's using your head.
Not your hands.
And that's the first idea. Once again, Sarah Thompson, founder and owner of Chatter 365 here on the Mike Wagner Show. And what are your upcoming plans for 2020 and beyond, and what can we expect from you guys?
Well, we're trying to grow our user base, so users are really important. We're expanding. We're talking to different sports organizations, trying to get them to adopt the application. We were put a little back, of course, on that front when all sports were canceled for the foreseeable future, really. But we're kind of working with different organizations to kind of make that even better and more useful for people trying to manage sports teams. Also in the future, we really are interested in getting feedback from our users regarding the anti-trolling for the kids. So is that an interesting feature for families? We've been designing software for a very long time. probably 17 years. And really what the key is to good software is listening to your users. And so that's what we're looking for is feedback from our users, and we will grow in the direction that they want us to grow in.
And that is fantastic as well, too. You got a great thing going. And who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
I didn't expect that. Probably my father. He's always set a good example, and always a hard worker, open heart, and a problem solver. I truly believe that, if we put our heads to any problem, that we can solve it as a human race.
Mm-hmm. And that's amazing, too. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
At this point, in today, I would say, do what you can to take care of yourself and stay positive, whether that's, do something for yourself every day. We all have stresses. We're all, some more than others. So do something for yourself so that, the most important thing I think is to make sure that you're mentally healthy, so that, the people around you can benefit from that as well. So just try to stay positive. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot of different ways to see things. I think staying positive, the alternative is being negative, and, really who wants that? It doesn't do it for anybody. So
I'm sure Chatter 365 doesn't want any negativity. So,
well, we know there's negativity, but we want you to be, as positive as you can be. I think we're all interested in being better people at the end of the day, every day, all day. We should always strive for that. And so being positive is part of that.
Mm-hmm. And that's the best thing. Once again, founder and owner of Chatter 365, Sarah Thompson, here on the Mike Wagner Show. A big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. By the way, it's developed by Thompson Technology Solutions with offices in Simi Valley, California, Palm Springs, and Chicago. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people download the app?
Thanks so much, Mike. People can go to www.chatter365.com, and they can sign up and download the app there, or they can go download it on iTunes or Google Play. And I really appreciate you having me on the show today. I thought it was great.
Sounds great. Sarah, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you to have back on 2020 and beyond. You've been fantastic. And let's stay in touch on Chatter 365.
Thank you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.